Hey, muy buenas noches to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well and as always enjoying family. Gracias, Tony, for allowing me to get on your platform again. Stories written by a current prisoner to share my stories. In the hope that the negative in my life could actually be used into something positive to guide those youngsters or not even youngsters, someone out there and allow them to give themselves a little bit of time, sit down, analyze everything, and come up with a better path for their life. Go down a path that is made of righteousness for himself and for those that love him, most importantly. Because we seem to lose track of that. While we're doing everything, we lose ourselves, and we lose that knowledge, most of all. That we do have loved ones that at one point or another they're worried about one, and you know but anyways, gracias. Okay, for the story, I'm just gonna continue off where I left off, per se. I'm just gonna just touch up on a little story that happened inside with a camarada. They called him Blue. He was from Riverside, or should I say Riverside County, to be more exact. But for those that were into Hatchby around the time I was there, you know 2000, he was there, I believe, from 2000 to about 2004. When I got there in 2002, he was there, and they called him Azul, and he was a good camarada. When we were there, and when we were over here in Becarranza as well, like I stated, it was for a moment, that Pablo went in there. It became a real chill place. We're basically doing our program and not minding nobody's business, staying out of everybody's way. And mainly because in this Pintas there's a gang of ratas. It was one of those things that you would have to clean up the whole prison to walk among solid people, and it just wasn't gonna happen. You did something, you farted, and they went and told on how it smelled and everything. It was just bad. So we opted to put blindfolds on and concentrate on our gente, and allow them to do their program that they wanted. Of course, at all times we were aware that they were there. Even people we didn't know, um, or we didn't imagine them to be around them. We knew they were just keeping an eye on us, because it's how it's the funny way, of Mexico criminal minds think. It's a lot different than California, per se. Over here, people don't want to earn their stuff by the heart they have, or the brave they are, or in other words, the stupid. They want to measure. They want people to measure them by how much they could tell. How much they could lamber allá, and it's not looked against. Like weak. There is some vatos that, basically they smack them around like what they are. Idiots. Monederos. But and overall, it's just not looked against. But without losing track, Azul, well, at least in my case, when they took me out of Siete Locos, which was like the dungeon after they had us down there, and when they started letting us at least start, sitting down, conversating, and doing our own thing. He was like I stated, we already knew each other from Tehachapi, so we kind of just kicked it off. Started talking. I remember I used to come out to yard, and I tried to stay away mainly from the pilis, cause if they had a focus on us, it was mainly let us do our thing and let them keep their focus on us. And plus the pilis, to be sincere, they were always high on something. They had already a focus on them by themselves. They got out, got the little jale, and they went back in the cell and or pasillo, and they did their thing. And so, anyways, we try to take we try to distract, whoever was side busting to on us. So I used to come out until Azul late. Vamos a chingarnos un helado, so we would just take laps. On the whole pen, we just take laps. Sometimes we do it for hours. We just take laps. We would go work out and then continue taking laps. Because it was, even though the Pilis were doing their thing, they made it real clear where they wanted no homies to use. Nothing at all. One of those contradiction things they always do. They were constantly high, drunk, or over there messing with the girls prisoners, and they didn't want no camarada to do it, which was cool. In my way, it was like the camaradas need to stay on their toes, regardless, because when the trancazos would come, I knew it was going to be us responding. So we did this, for a while, and the camarada had been sent to do a mission out there. He basically got sent for a comadre. For those that don't know who a comadre is basically a snitch, that works for the government. There were some workers that were out there with that old man from Ontario, and there was a comadre. They usually work for the federales, and they send them undercover and to get intel. And we were aware of this comadre after he went out there, that his thing came back and basically sent the dogs on the señor. He came out here and just chilled, collected whatever he collected, and was just working, the caminos out here. So the camarada came out here, and he hunted him down and he clipped him, and that's why he was busted. I remember he had gotten sentenced for it for if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was like 34 years, or it was above 30 years. I know that, and all his family was still in the States. So it was real rare that you saw any type of family that would come and visit him, because he was born, in California. So he had just came out and to take care of business and got caught in the mix. So anyways, we used to do our thing, and I remember one day his carnala, his jefita, and I believe it was his brother, they came to visit him. And like I stated to you guys, the way visiting works, it ain't nothing like, they call you to and this pinta, it wasn't like there was bloques, per se. It was pájaros, bloque 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It went up to 7, and ocho was what I mentioned to you guys, which was behind the fence. But basically in every bloque you had, like Pájaro was just one building. It was just one section, one building, and then you had dos, you had dos uno, dos tres, dos cuatro, dos cinco, and then it went three. You had front, back, and then four was the same. One, two, three, four, and it was just like hallways, with cells. And I remember we're in two, three, and the homie invited me to go eat a taco with them and actually conversate with his mom. And but like I stated, visit, it's one of the things, they come in, and the Judas, from the minute you go past R&R, you come out, you're about to come out to what they call poblacion. They actually, they tell your family, you see them, the rojos that are out here, and verdes, you gotta pay them something and they'll go find your visit. So what they do is just throw your visitors out on the yard, and they rojos come up to you and they tell you, who you're looking for. You tell them the name, what they call them. They give the placazo, and then to más o menos where he's at, and you tell them, and or they tell you that, oh, I know who it is, and they basically tell you, come on, follow me. So there's no COs, your family's literally walking on the yard amongst every inmate, every visit, and in this time, I guess one of the rojos, seen his sister, and it's different, you could right away tell when someone's not from here, and I guess disrespected, and amongst, not while we were, eating, because after we ate, I didn't want to be side busting because I thought it was disrespectful, so I right away I said it straight up, I don't want to be bothering you guys' visit. Muchas gracias for inviting me. It was a great pleasure meeting you, and I'm gonna let you guys stay to your visit. And after that, they basically were conversating, and I guess they told Azul, and Azul knew that basically it was like, if a camarada did anything, it was gonna be all bad on everybody. Period. Because the only ones that were allowed to put hands on other inmates were the mafia, basically the cartel in there, the Beltranes. Yeah, and we were all aware of this because the Pilis made it real clear, that they didn't want them to come down on us. But it was them, they were worried about still being on the yard getting high. It's just that would never change on them. I'm not gonna say they weren't a couple camaradas that were doing their thing, like Pulpo from 38, and Spanky from 18. You know, there was a few camaradas that were sprung out too. I'm not just gonna say them, but the camaradas, they have no say so. It was a Piles that was calling everything out. And they were calling out. They didn't want to be in bad no more with these vatos, so that they wouldn't take us down to the dungeon basically. And we knew all what it was about. It was about them staying on poblacion, feeding the bangs. That was what they were worried about, because in every block they had a little store where you could actually go and buy whatever you want to buy. So, anyways, dispense. I got off track, but so I remember. I'm just gonna keep it sincere with you guys. Um, I remember I seen Azul cause I came out again from the cell, and walking laps, and I seen he was walking with his family towards, because you walk him back to the stairs, and you see him walk out, out of Poblacion into the little hallway to go downstairs. And I seen that, and I just kicked back, and I waited for homeboy to come back, and he was just, he looked mad, And so I told him, hey, what's up? ¿Qué traes? And he told me straight up, hey, he told me like, hey, look, camarada, this fool, see, there was a vato, they called him cementerio he was going for, which we knew it wasn't his placazo, because that's what they were calling him in there, but he grew up in Azusa. He was a homie. He was just, he was one of those funny ones, that was down here hiding out, basically, or came out this way because, he had something in his closet that was running, he was running from it, because even though we were aware that he's a camarada, he didn't want no part of kicking it with the camaradas. And he was a funny ass cat, Spencer, the way he acted and was, so he basically disrespected Azul's sister. So he told me like, hey fool, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna go ahead and just grab one of those things and come back, and I'm not even gonna say nothing. These vatos might get mad at me, but I'm gonna book this fool. I ain't got nothing to lose, And I know I ain't gonna be able to tip him up because the minute I start, they're gonna jump on me. So, and I just told him like, hey, you know what? I'll walk with you. I'm not gonna jump in, but I'll be right there. They ain't gonna jump you. It's just not gonna go down that way. You take care of your business, and if you deal with it, and you're able to get your money right, then And I told him, just be aware, gonna take you down, they're gonna beat your butt, And the señores over here are gonna flip out. So he basically asked me just to take care of it, at least with O, because like I stated, O, even though he was doing his thing, he was more understanding, or he was more level-headed with the camaradas than Richie was just like, you're gonna do what I say, them type. And basically it went down that way, When we were walking, Spanky from 18, he had a little shop, It was tacos dorados and tostadas, things like that. I remember the homie Azul, he was up on the hallway. He was at the taco stand, just right there playing dumb, asking about some belts or something, I'm right below on the field because it's right across. And I remember this vato that was from Azusa, he walked by and homeboy just started going to town on them, And remember, nothing happened. At this moment, nothing happened, He got his money to the point where he felt comfortable, and he went through that thing on top of the roof, which it didn't matter. He wasn't gonna pick up no case over in Mexico, And basically, the little Talibanes came, and they didn't respect it because at this time there was a couple Talibanes that you could say they were camaradas at one point, but there was one that still played a part, like he was still firmes with the camaradas, but in reality he wasn't, because he was more on that side, He didn't want them vatos to know he was a camarada. He wanted us to know he was a camarada, but not them. And there was an Azteca that worked for them, and there was a couple vatos at least that didn't belong in full, to all this. And when them two vatos, they grabbed them and took him down, then it took about an hour. They had to pick that up fool up. He booked and took him in for the Judas. They don't really like to come on the yard, So it went down smooth like that, I give you guys my palabra. It was nothing like, if I would have seen them jump on him, I would have jumped in, and it was right outside, uh, tres, the wing, three wing, and that's where we hang now. I remember Casper from Pasadena was out there. There was a real cool norteño, Happy from Modesto. He was there too. He would have jumped in. I know he would have. You know, there was a there was a few camaradas there. I can't remember this camarada's name, but he was from Fontana, and he was a real bad tattoo artist, and he would have jumped in too, but we just basically seen it happen, and boom, they took him. They take him to the spot when we first got there, down in the dungeon where the 5150s are at. We seen them go down there, and they let everybody go about their business. So right away we went back to the homies Casper's wood shop, and we started conversating. We're like, what's gonna happen? And I told him, hopefully the homie he realizes that he could actually come and tell these vatos, this vat, my family just came today. You could check, and this fool, he disrespected. That's it. He don't have to get into details. But that's what the reason why he took care of his business, at least to the vatos from the cartel. There was no need to get into details or nothing. Just basically the reason why, so that these fools don't get panic and think we're gonna move on all of them or something. But being true to the Sureños way, I think they went down and they started stomping him in. And the homie wasn't gonna say nothing. He would tell him, ask him the reason. Tell him to tell you, I ain't want to speak, and then, you're not gonna talk, and they kept going. Anyways, they beat him down with bats. And to our surprise, like 2 days, no, I'm lying. It was like 4 or 5 days. They burned back on Poblacion, and the homie had his own, cause over here in Mexico you have to pay your cell, or else you sleep in the hallway. So you have to pay to buy your cell, then your bread, whatever you have in the cell. You could have everything, TV, surround sound, whatever, but you gotta buy everything, which the homie had. And they the vatos from the cartel ended up taking everything from them. And since they stomped him out with bats. They left him wrong. He wasn't himself. I'm telling you, cause not only did I conversate a lot with him, but I remember I tattooed his whole head. I did his whole hairline in a collage, and so we were there conversating. So he was a good dude. And but once he got out, he just wasn't himself, man. He started seeing monos con trinchetes, like they were after him, and they left him wrong. But it came to a point where, remember one day, Richie was like, "Hey, we gotta cut this vato loose, cause he ain't there." And I remember not just me, but it was a few camaradas that spoke out, and say, "Well, we ain't gonna do that, man. Come on, it's just not gonna happen." Hay dispensa y con todo y dado respeto, but it's just not gonna happen. We ain't gonna cut him loose. Vato didn't tell, he didn't do nothing wrong for us to cut him loose. But like I stated, they were so worried about getting high, they wanted that focus away from him. And needless to say, we didn't cut him loose, but it was just something that got so out of hand that he would be conversating good, and then when we think everything's cool, sometimes I would tell him like, "Hey, fool, come on, let's go drink a chesco, and grab some galletas or something." Or I would tell him sometimes in the morning, let's go get some chanate, and we would go, and everything would be cool, and next thing you know, I would leave him like in a cell or somewhere, and he would see the Talibanes, that were walking in groups, and he would flip out, man. And one thing he was a rider, He seen him and he would take off on them. It just got real bad, to the point where, well, I found out like later, they grabbed him and they said he had, head problems. So they took him down to Siete Locos, but for different reasons to keep him down there, because he was wrong. He needed medications to stay right, And I later came to find out that, Richie okayed it, Richie talked to Blas, Leiva, and they were trying to figure out a solution, and he decided for the whole Ranfla to go ahead and throw the vato in the, you know, throw the homie that had nothing wrong, that got done dirty and wasn't okay in the head, instead of us looking for a solution to stand by the vato, by the homie, he okayed it with these vatos that had stomped us out, that we got caught because we had orders to move on them, but you know he sat down with him and analyzed and had conversations, throw a homie under the bus, because I know you guys are gonna be like, well, if he was wrong, he wasn't a homie. He was a homie, period. We don't abandon. Well, my way of thought is we to always stand by our gente, especially in a foreign, when we're outside of our dorm, we should stand by them. What you mean you hurt him, you did this, and I'm gonna sit with you and okay it with you to take him down and lock him up 24/7. The only time you let him out is to come pick up his meds. It just we didn't find out. We found out this later through a vato they call Chippies. That was one of their main sicarios, and he ended up telling us by this time, Mono, the Pili Mono, and Richie, and No were the first one to parole of us, and but it was just one of the things, that he said, she said type of thing. So it was best to be left alone, But I believe it, because I remember they were always trying to stop it, and mainly Richie, he was always worried about them closing the stores on him, to buy Hale. He was more worried about getting high, He would have I think he would have had us all dealt with, to be sincere, if it came down to I'm going to cut the food for your bane if you don't throw homeboy under the bus. But, and the reason I speak about this is because, out on that little rancho where I'm at, Tamarindo, Culiacan, um, I happened to see his jefita, and I asked, and when we actually told her like, hey, he don't need to be down there, he's just gonna get worse, and he straight told me, hey, if you would only see him, man, if you would only see him, putting him down there was like, if he was bad, he just went balls out, I don't know what medication. So I asked her, why don't you pay the fine to get him out? And she said, I can't, he's better off in there. Because every time we talk, it's like, I'm going to get out, I'm going to kill this, and because they're chasing me. And it's just one of those cases, and it's sad, It's sad that at this moment, like I stated, there was about 40 of us, and instead of the camarada that at one time served his purpose in the system in California and was busted for coming all the way down and taking care of business, instead of us standing by him and supporting him and just be like, you know what, F this. Let's hoop bang on all of them. They disrespected one of us, let's boogie. We, the police had made it so clear, that we weren't gonna do that. So it's just a shameful thing, You know, uh, there was a couple other incidents that actually happened with the Billy Ritchie that I sat in the cell with the Billy O from El Centro. He was he was kicking. He didn't want to mess around with nothing. I was sitting down in his cell at the door. He was in there telling me like, "Hey, look, fool, this, and that." But I would touch on that, and it is why I strongly believe that, hell yeah, these batos are dirty. They're dirty ass tecatos that you know they talk about being real. They talk about being loyal, and you know when push comes to shove, they're quick to throw everybody under the bus. But at least when it came to camaradas, at the end of the day, what's a camarada gonna do? Is a sureño gonna push the issue on a pili? Are they gonna believe a sureño over a pili? They know this, and they take advantage of this. They do it every day in the system of California, in the feds. And it's just shameful. It's shameful there's so many people, wasting their life, glorifying this stuff, thinking of prison like a badge of honor, wanting to please these people, to be righteous and in the sureño way. And I say it because I was there. It is why, I hope my stories are able to open up a little glimpse, and it would be enough for someone. I don't want a lot of people, one youngster, just to have that glimpse and be like, you know what, F this fool step back in my books, he's this and that. I'm okay with that. There's no paperwork on me. I give you my my word on that. And there will never be no paperwork because just never happened and never will be like that. But I could be whatever you want. As long as you at least look in and be like, damn, I'm gonna take this pendejo's word, because it gotta have some truth to it, right? I'm not on here to glorify nothing. This is simply my story, in the hopes that you could at least look at it and be like, damn, this fool was stupid, tonto, whatever you want to call me, and be like, hell no, I'm gonna stay away from that, period. Stay true to my friends from childhood, the ones that were true to me, and mainly, treasure those that deserve to be treasured, not a bunch of tecatos that are gonna be quick to throw you under the bus if it suits their need to feed their veins. But anyways, I already got off topic, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this right here. Just thought I told the camaradas little story, because I know till day is probably down there, being forgotten of, and I think it's sad, that we're in a position to actually extend our hand out to him, and once again, those are righteous, those that are supposed to be legends. They let another camarada, it didn't matter if he wasn't right in the head, at the end of the day, he did his part, so why couldn't we do our part to maintain strong with him? But they decided to keep getting high and throw him under the bus, as they do every day.